Good morning everybody, welcome back to plot number 13. I haven't done a video for a couple of weeks. I've just been busy. I've had a birthday, I've been away, you know what it's like, and editing takes a little while. I have been taking some footage, so I'll give you a little recap of the month so far. Just dug a massive great big hole. Look how many bags I have removed. 6 bags of mud from the ground just for a 55 litre little pond. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how much of the ground has actually had to come out. And there were some few great big roots as well. I think from memory, when I took over the plot, there was an old blackcurrant bush that it was just a bit dishevelled. So I kind of just cut it down and left the roots in. So now I've had to dig the roots out in this section there. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with it, to be fair. So first of all, I got myself a spade and a bag of sand and obviously the pond liner. Flip it over and then line the outside, or mark the outside, shall I say, with some kind of sand or spray, or you can also use a hose pipe or some string or something like that. So line the outside so you know roughly where to dig. Once you've lined the outside, you can start digging your hole and try and keep it roughly with the pond liner in mind. Every now and again, pop the pond liner back into your hole and just check the levels are okay. It's easier to do it as you're going along and make little corrections rather than try and backfill and sort it out once you've gone too far. And what you want to be aiming for is the pond liner to sit fairly level with the ground, because when you put the sand in the bottom to line it, it'll lift it up a bit anyway. So once you've got your sand in the bottom and the liner's sat level, you use the rest of the sand to backfill the kind of edges and fill the sides up. It's better to do it with sand rather than dirt as well. But the sand just seems to sit better and you've got a little bit more control over it. So once you've filled the sand around, you can scrape back some of the soil and the edging. In my case, it's a bit of the wood chips, so I've just popped that back. And then I simply collect a load of rocks and stuff from around the plot, put a few in the bottom, and then you also need to make a ledge as well. Well, it's a good idea to make a ledge. So you want to put the ledge in the bottom. So if you get any frog creatures like that need to hide quickly, they can duck under the ledge at the bottom of the pond, pool. And then just continue to fill rocks around. As I'm gardening and stuff like that, I'll probably collect a few more rocks and just add it to this area. And like I say, I'm going to do a bit of planting around in between some flowers and hidey holes and bits and bobs. I do have some broken pots at home as well, so I might bring those down and half bury them in the ground for little hidey holes just on the outside of the pond as well. The reason I've put my pond in this position is because the compost bin offers a bit of shade. The compost bin offers a bit of shade on this side, just a little bit, not loads, because you want a bit of sun on your pond, otherwise you'll get algae and stuff in it. But obviously you don't want it in the blazing heat, so that's why I've chosen this location here. And it's out the way, and this is where I'm going to have all my flowers and things, so hopefully it'll be a good spot for them. So it's not completely finished. What I want to do now is buy some pea shingle and just line the bottom of the pond, and then maybe look at some plants and stuff like that. I've had a pond before, and when I bought plants, I didn't know that you were supposed to buy the plants and isolate them for a little while, just in case there's any duckweed on there, because if you get duckweed in your pond, it's an absolute nightmare to get rid of. So always isolate it first, rinse them off, make sure that they're proper clean before you put them into your main pond. Also with the pea shingle, give it a good rinse when you open the bag, because it's always covered in some kind of like silty residue, which will just ruin the clarity of your pond water. So at the moment it's nice and clean and fresh. There we go. So I'm hoping to keep it like that and attract a few little friends to the plot. So as you know, I've planted out a few bits and bobs, which were far too early. During early May, I think, we had 1 or 2 nights where it was kind of very cold, borderline frost. And as you can see, the marigolds didn't make it. Well, some of them didn't. It's really strange because some were in close proximity to the others and were fine. So there must be little micro pockets of frost around the plot. The courgettes, I put these out far too early. They are definitely not frost hardy and they have suffered. So do you get further ahead by planting out earlier? Absolutely not. Would I do it again? Yes. So I've actually decided to plant out my tomatoes. So these tomatoes have gone out a bit early as well, but I think the frost has definitely gone now. So they can tolerate a bit of cold and they've been outside at home. So I've just gone ahead and popped them out. So I use this pole and string method. All I do is dangle some string from a bar above down into the ground, and then I put the tomato roots on top of the string and then just bury it as normal. And then as I'm going, I wrap the main stem around the string and it just supports it as it's growing. While I'm here, I'm going to pinch out all the side shoots as well. So you just pinch these little pieces off where the side branches meet the main branch, and that just helps them focus on growing tall and fruiting rather than bushing out. For this one, what I'm going to do is dig a little trench and lie it down flat and bury the whole stem with just the tiny bit coming out, and then I'm going to support it in a different way as well. So I've just got one stick which I'm going to tie it to as it grows. So that's my little tomato experiment to see how that one gets on. So that's about it. You're bang up to date now. We'll have a quick look around the plot and see if there's any interesting progress. So this is a radicchio or radicchio, I'm not sure how you say it, that's going to seed, and I've decided to leave 3 plants in to collect the seeds from, so that'll be an interesting one. And I've dug up the rest of the row, but in the no dig method you're supposed to leave the roots in the ground, but they're actually growing. So I might have another little harvest there. Bonus. Oh yeah, we have beautiful sweet peas. This is the sweet peas in the bean section, so they're doing really well. Look how tall they are. I'll show you what the sweet peas look like in the allium beds now, if I can fight my way through this great big bush of stuff that I can't remember what's called. I think it's sweet williams, sweet rocket, something like that. Smells gorgeous, but yeah, it's a bit crazy. So here's the sweet peas just here in the allium bed. This is my little mistake slash trial, and we've got sweet peas on there. So this little section of sweet peas just here, it's growing really well. Obviously the rest of the row is shocking, so it's interesting. I don't know why. Here's a quick look at how the pond's getting on. So I've planted a few bits and bobs around it, mainly some spare cabbages, so hopefully it will provide a bit of food for the slugs to stay away from my other crops, and some shelter and stuff for little creatures. So I've put the pea shingle in the bottom as well. I might set the wildlife camera up actually on this section here and see if anything's drinking out of it or whatever. So these were the courgettes which got frost damage a couple of weeks ago, and I think we've got a little bit of regrowth on some of them. We'll probably knock it back quite a bit, but that's okay because courgettes grow crazy anyway. That one's okay, that's one of the replacements. And then there's another frost damage one, so it's always worth leaving a bit of frost damage in there just in case. You never know. Like I said, you never know. I think these zinnias have definitely had it. So don't plant your zinnias out at all. That's a marigold there, so that's okay. We've got one zinnia left here that survived. How mad's that? Go on mate, you can do it. Spuds are looking great. I've got the first earlies on the right, seconds in the middle, and then these little ones just coming up now in the main crops. I had a little bit of frost damage on some of the earlies and seconds, but nothing too major, so that's okay. And there's the seconds with a bit of frost damage on it as well. Got some spare leeks and spinach growing really well here, some radish and some lovely weeds, obviously. Make sure I get them out today. Onions are looking fab. These are autumn sown onions. I did wonder if they were going to rot and go a bit squidgy, but no, they've really picked up. Let me show you. Look at some of the size of these. Come in now. Look at the size of that. Beautiful. And then down here was the one sown from seed. These are the Elsa ones. They were just left over from the giant onion growing challenge that we're doing. Fennel's looking good. I can tell it's just started to root now because it's got new growth on it. So it's just about taking. So that's good. I've lost a few, but they were a bit dry anyway. So I used these newspaper pots and I found that the soil inside, the compost inside was so dry. I thought I'm just going to have to plant them out because they were taking so much water in at home. And the nasturtium's taking hold as well, so that's great. Looking good. Apparently fennel doesn't like to be planted next to other stuff because it restricts their growth. I thought, well, I've got bindweed on this side, so I wonder if it will restrict the bindweed growth. One to watch, I think. Carrots are all right. I weeded this middle of last week. Oh, there's my knife. There's my knife. I've been looking for that. Do you ever just go around the plot, leaving stuff everywhere, forgetting stuff? I left hose out. I've lost my knife, which I've just found. And like there's clips down there. I'm like, ah, you just get so distracted down here. I don't know what the problem is. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I want to do from looking around the plot. The first thing I want to do is sort out the edge of the plot where the boundary are and just tidy up that. I've brought the mower down with me today to make that nice and easy, and then I'll just snip it by hand. And then I've got these couple of spare aubergines that are like feeling sorry for themselves. So I'm just going to put them in the ground up here and see what happens. I've got my best ones at home in the 5-litre air pots in the little greenhouse. One of them's got a flower on, so that's really good. But these two were just a bit of rejects, to be fair. Run out of pots, you know how it is. So I'm going to bob them in the ground now and see what they do. So I've got a tiny little gap just by these onions here. So this is where I'm going to bob the aubergines. What I like to do is sprinkle a little bit of Eco 5 charge and a little sprinkle of gel crystals just in the bottom of the hole, and then pop the new plants on top just to give them a bit of a chance. Especially with this dry weather, a really good tip is any new seedlings, any new plantings, just put some gel crystals in the bottom of the hole, and it just takes the pressure off trying to get everything watered all the time. It's a really big help, honestly. You'll find that all your seedlings take a lot better, especially in this dry weather. So I've had a little weed around the plot. I've tidied up some of the violas and had a little good mooch around everywhere. Didn't find any slugs, unfortunately. I thought I was going to find a couple because it's quite wet this morning, so only 2 snails so far. So what I do when I'm walking around the plot is I take a bucket and then a smaller one just hooked on the side, and I put my bindweed and dandelions and all stuff that is going to keep coming back into my little jug, and then the other stuff that will just kind of die off in a compost bin goes in the black bin. So then I put my black one into the compost, and then the little jug I put into my pot of doom. And it drowns all the weeds and stuff like that, and then you just siphon it off and pop it into your watering cans and water the ground with it. So it's all part of the ecosystem and the circular economy. I also found a stone. So when I have put a lot of green stuff in, like the grass cuttings, I always try my best to bring down some shredded cardboard from home. Shredded cardboard or paper, you know, like junk stuff that comes through the door or lettuce or whatever like that, and just try and incorporate a bit of browns, because I know that the grass will just compact and go to sludge. So I'm trying this year. I had no heat in my compost bin at all last year, and still no heat this year either. I just don't think I'm adding enough volume to it to really get it cooking. Hence why I'm trying to get the mixture right. I mean, something's happening because the level keeps dropping, but it's just no heat. Oh well. Right, I'm going to start harvesting some bits now. So I'm going to have a look under these nets, because I've got some beetroot and stuff. So I'm going to have a look under here. They look ready. I've harvested some spring onions, some chives and coriander so far. So I'm going to pick a few more of those as well. And I've got tons of lettuce. So I'm going to grab some lettuce as well. So I've definitely got some beetroot worth harvesting. Don't know if you can make that out. There we go. The smaller you pick it, the more tender it is. And you don't end up with horrible woody beetroot. So I'm going to pick a load of beetroot now, leave the tiny ones in. There we go. That's a decent size, that. That's all right. I'm happy with that. And these two are a little bit too small just yet, so I'll leave them a little bit longer to grow a bit bigger. While the covers are off, I always like to have a weed and a good watering as well. And also, if you pull off the yellow leaves from the cabbages and brassicas and anything that's been nibbled, just get rid of it. The plant doesn't need it, and the slugs will go elsewhere, usually. Well, that's what I find anyway. There's hardly any slug damage under here, because I keep removing all the bottom leaves, all the rotten ones. Looks great, just this one to go. That wasn't very smooth, was it? There's not much to harvest in this bed, to be fair, but I'm going to pick a bit of the dill. That looks like it's ready to go, and I'm just going to get rid of this little one that's, I just don't think it's going to do anything. Let me show you. There you go, it's just taking up space. Compared to its brothers and sisters, it's looking a bit sorry for itself. Now these were damaged by birds at one point because the net blew off, so whether that's to do with it, not sure. Or it could be the moles that are going underneath as well, because they've knocked a few of these back. Yeah, so I'll just get rid of this one now. I eat loads of coriander, so I'm always picking this. I've never grown it in between peas before. I know it's a companion plant. Maybe I should have just put a bit more space, or maybe I should have done the row next to it, because it's a bit of a pain to get the coriander out because all the peas are wrapped around it. So I'll just do the best I can. Oh, without tearing the peas off. Coriander doesn't really do well in the heat, so as soon as it starts to be ready to harvest, it needs to come out. And then there's a little gap in the season where you can sow it, but you're just going to get seed straight away. This was stuff that went to seed last year, so it germinates quite well actually if you save the seed. Now for the beetroot, you can eat the leaves. I think you cook them a bit like chard, but I'm not a massive fan of chard, and I have tons of lettuce. So what I normally do is just twist off the leaves, pop them in the compost bin. If you twist it off, it helps reduce the amount of bleeding as well. I mean, there's still blood coming out. Not blood, but you know, juice coming out. But not as much. There you go. Put it in the fridge at home before you roast it off. Time to pick some lettuce. So some of the stuff doesn't really heart up and you just pick the outer leaves as much as you want. But these ones are hearting up. You can see in there. So I'm just going to pick them now while they're small and tender, and take the whole root out basically. I always sow far too much lettuce as well. So start picking ASAP. Try and keep on top of it, but some of it will have to go into the compost bin. Oh look, there's a baby ladybird there. Little ladybird larvae. Is it a larvae? I'll just shake him off and he can carry on with his good work. But yeah, I'm happy with that. That's a nice bit of lettuce there. These radishes look done to me as well, and I'm going to pick some of them spring onions as well. I'm not a massive fan of radish, but I was going to make some kimchi. Oh, not very big to be fair. So these are white ones. I'll put the name up on the screen here. And you cut them open and they're red inside. Oh, but they're a bit small. Too much leaves and not enough growth on the roots. Oh well. Never been very good at growing radish. Good job I don't like it. Another thing I've never really been good at is spring onions. I'm good at onions, but just not the spring variety. I just think I put them in and forget to water them or something. They don't really thicken up, so probably could do with leaving them a bit longer, but I'm going to eat them because I've got loads. Might as well pick it while it's small. I think I spent so much time trying to get it to grow and then feel scared to harvest it. But yeah, if you pick everything young, just sow more. Oh yeah, look at that beautiful harvest. I'm going to enjoy scoffing this tonight. Well, that's everything from me today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend and I shall see you next week. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.